So if you haven't given your team enough capacity to actually work on this, and that means giving them enough time to implement it, giving them the support they need to be a part of the change, making sure that they've got all the resources around them to actually do this, then they're probably not going to do it. And the reason why is because they would rather just stick to their day job. They would rather just stick to the already urgent work that they have to do. They would rather just do nothing and not change, because that's simpler and easier than a difficult change for them. So if you haven't actually given them the bandwidth to do and manage changing to a new platform or a new system, then it's not going to work. Imagine you've got an address book with all your contacts and someone's trying to implement a new CRM system. Now, our favorite is Copper CRM. We implement that all the time. That one helps, a little plug for that, helps sales teams with their relational sales. And it's really great if you're on G Suite, which is really cool. Now, if we tried to implement that to a company, and we didn't give someone the time to actually learn how to use the new system and then the time to actually use the new system, the challenge that we would have is that if it's easier for someone to just go into their contacts, then they're just going to basically continue staying inside their contacts. And so if someone is not given enough time to learn a new system, they're going to keep doing things the old way and the inefficient way, in your eyes, the inefficient way. But the team actually need time to get used to doing something new. If you said to someone, here, I want you to jump in your car and I want you to jump in and drive it left-hand drive, right? So we're in Australia, so left-hand drive is the opposite wheel drive. And I want you to go out on a racetrack and go around at 200 kilometers an hour around this racetrack, then someone's going to say, no way, there's no way I'm absolutely comfortable doing that in a left-hand drive car, because they're not used to it. So give them the baby steps and then give them the capacity as well. All right, cool. Next one. Okay, if the team was negative or cynical about the change, that one is baby steps. And so making sure that you've got baby steps covered is making sure that they can take care of the first thing. So maybe you put them in the car and you say, hey, let's go around the racetrack at 40 kilometers an hour in the left-hand drive car, and that's going to make it a little bit easier for them. Show them the way with some baby first steps. Introduce new skills and new tools in phases, and that's going to make it easier for you. And then finally is our report back. Make sure you're gathering feedback and make sure you have your team members reporting back to you and letting you know the feedback on how things are going. But that's also you checking in. It's not just reporting back on how it went for them, it's you checking in and making sure things are done. If you're not actually checking in and seeing where the team are up to, seeing whether or not the tool's actually being utilized, running reports on the utilization, just literally logging into the tool and seeing if tasks are being created, or seeing if someone's making phone calls in the CRM, or seeing if calls are being made with the voice phone system that you've implemented, then it's not going to happen. I'm really interested to know, what have you implemented that's gone well, or what have you implemented that's not gone well? I'd be curious to know in the comments if you've ever implemented something and found that you missed one of these steps. Let me know what step you missed. I'm really curious about that. I know that I've often implemented tools and then just not followed up. And unsurprisingly, they would work for a bit and then they would drop off. Or when I haven't explained the why or the vision, I'd have that problem where the staff just don't care. They're too busy, they don't care, or they're actively pushing back against the change. And so for me, it's really about selling rather than telling in leadership when we've got a new tool that we need to implement, just to make sure that we actually have the team on board before we go ahead and implement that change. How to make sure that your team are going to be able to adopt new tools when they have a lot of, let's call it, I don't want to use the term sunk costs, but let's say a lot of experience in another tool. And the challenge is going to be on two folds. Number one is a competency challenge. And so that's literally, they're not going to be competent in the new tool. They're more competent in the old tool. And so it's going to really feel like friction and frustration for them to, have an uphill battle of adopting a new tool. Number two is it's going to be, a confidence thing. That's going to be a part of it as well. And so they're actually going to need to go through a journey of becoming competent and confident with the new tool. And so what I would say is, for that person, the easiest way to sell it to that person or bring that person on board is that the concepts that they know from their previous tool, and this could be, it's not just, going from Microsoft to Google Docs. It might be a CRM system, it might be a different email system, it might be a different phone system, it might be just, getting work done inside of Google Drive instead of using a server on the local machine. the concepts are going to be pretty similar. Storing a file in Google Drive, sharing a file in Google Drive, yes, there's some different ways of doing it, but the concepts are going to be similar. When you go from Microsoft Excel over to a Google Sheet, most of the formulas are still going to be fairly similar. There's macros inside of Google Sheets now. Most of the features are there, and even though they're named different things, then, you know, eventually someone's going to get across and be able to actually use those tools. But here's the secret to actually getting them across the line. It's a little bit of the why, but it's also about bringing a little bit of the magic. And so we've moved like literally over 1,000 companies from Microsoft systems over to Google. We do this all day, every day. And the magic in getting someone to adopt Gmail off Microsoft, right? They've moved from Outlook over to Gmail. And I used to fly all around Australia and present in boardrooms and literally run the training to a whole bunch of staff who'd be sitting there with their arms crossed, not wanting to change. And I was the guy who had to sell them why they were switching to Gmail on the go live day, right? That was what I had to do. And what I found was if I taught someone 1 or 2 cool new tricks in the new system that they couldn't do in the old system, that will get them across the line. And so what I mean by that is if I show someone how cool the search is inside of Gmail, that you can search for anything going back 10 years and you don't have to put stuff in folders anymore, bing, someone all of a sudden realizes that I don't have to put stuff in folders anymore. This is going to save me so much time, right? And all of a sudden, the new system becomes the champion. It becomes exciting to make the change. Same as in Microsoft Word, going to Google Documents, or in Excel, going over to Google Sheets. One of the things that I love to show off inside of Google Sheets is the Insights tab. And the Insights tab uses Google's machine learning and AI to automatically suggest graphs, suggest charts, suggest updates to your graph. You can automatically, when you're typing in a formula in a cell, have Google auto-complete the formulas. It uses its AI and machine learning to actually guess what kind of formula that you might want. And so if you're implementing a new tool, try and find a quick win or something exciting and sexy about the new tool that you can't do in the old tool, and that will hopefully get someone across that hurdle of building the competency and then building the confidence in the tool. Again, use the framework that we've talked about, which is, you know, making sure that everything in the change is effectively managed to make sure that you have all the different steps covered and you're more likely to have a successful change. But if you can bring a bit of magic, then that's going to help as well. Now, if you're a small business owner and you have technology tools inside your business and you'd like them to run more smoothly, we can help. We are a technology consultancy and a concierge support service to help small and medium-sized business owners get more productive with their tech and get their teams more productive by implementing new technology tools. So what might that look like? Well, if you're a small business, you may need to first get your systemization done, need to get everything in sync, get your tools talking to each other, and really just get the basics down of your security and the right apps for you to be working on your business. As your business grows and scales, what starts to matter more is systemization, putting in place technology policies, making sure that you have good devices and good software for your teams, and that you consolidate it down to the way of working in your business. Now, what I mean by the way is having one way of purchasing machines, or one way of doing your tasks so that everyone's on the same page, or one way of storing files inside your Google Drive so that everyone knows how to find things easily, right? That's how we develop the way inside your business, and you know, that's something that we can help with as well. Now, as you grow and scale as an organization, it becomes more about visibility. You need to start thinking about things like dashboards. Do I have all of my KPIs in one place? Are they monitored and are they managed? We can build a dashboard inside of Google Data Studio, which will allow you to see all of your data and see everything that's going on in your business in one place. You need to start thinking about automations to get your different tools talking to each other, so you have one consolidated set of tools for all of your team to work with, so everything runs nice and smoothly. So if you're at all interested in that, please go ahead and drop us a message via the link below. And if you haven't already joined our group for small business owners utilizing the Google ecosystem or interested in the Google Cloud ecosystem, then you can join our group down below. It's called G Suite Community. And inside that group, we have exclusive videos. We do lives every week, and we do in-depth training on more topics just like this, but more closely related to the Google ecosystem. And so if you're interested in that, jump on that link. It's free to join, and we look forward to seeing you guys in there. All right, I'm going to sign off now. Thanks so much for joining this one, and we will see you guys in the next one.